If you and your students have been searching for scholarships or plan to, you've probably heard the advice from someone to go to FastWeb or maybe scholarships.com. No matter what, these big popular search engines have been around really for decades now. But here's the truth. Scholarship money, some of the best scholarship money, is often found outside of these search engines. In today's video, I want to share 6 secrets on how to find the best scholarship money out there. That way, you and your student can find scholarships that are less competitive, they have a higher chance of winning, and that can still accumulate up to a free ride to college. This can make all the difference when it comes to winning or not winning scholarships. Now make sure you hit subscribe because every week we have a new strategy for you and your family to work towards a debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we help families overwhelmed by the cost of college secure scholarships so that their student can graduate debt-free from college and avoid decades of student loans. So our main bread and butter is scholarships. In fact, we've helped families secure over $15 million to date. So we know a lot about this topic and I can't wait to share it with you all. Now, just quickly, this is for US citizens and permanent residents. We're not familiar with the international rules. Let's go ahead and dive in. So first, why go beyond FastWeb? Everyone says to go there, even often guidance counselors. But the thing is, sites like FastWeb or scholarships.com or Scholarship Owl, these big popular ones, they sound great and they might have good search engine fields, but what you may not realize is everyone uses them. There is tons of competition, which can mean a lot of wasted time on scholarships that your student may not even realistically be able to win. And lastly, a lot of times they have the spammy sweepstakes scholarships mixed in there. So we need to sift through a lot of it. Now, I'm not saying never go to these. In fact, we have a whole list of my favorite scholarship websites for our members inside our course. I also shared a video on this, so we'll link to that in the description below on the best websites for finding scholarships. But that really should be our last line of defense, okay? Our first line of defense, that's what I want to get into in today's video with the 6 secrets. So really, it's all about getting more specific, more targeted, and more creative in our search process. Now, before I get into the 6 secrets, I do want to say that I have a webinar where I show you actual searches that I've done. I show you scams versus legitimate scholarships. So you've got visuals. So I highly recommend checking out that free webinar. You can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar to register for that. Again, that along with the YouTube videos I mentioned will be linked in the description below. Okay, let's get into secret number 1, which is to search locally first. Some of the best, most overlooked scholarships are right in front of your doorstep. Encouraging your student to check out local businesses, Rotary clubs, Elks clubs, Kiwanis, Lions, local foundations or banks or credit unions, going through the high school guidance office, asking them about it, even looking at the competing high school, our rival high school, their website. They might have a list of local scholarships as well. Churches, religious organizations, a student's employer, or as a parent or guardian, your employer. These are all local, close to home sources of a lot of funds, which naturally, because they're more local, then they will be less competitive. Now, the second one is to focus on niche scholarships. So the more specific, the less competitive. And again, in that webinar, I talk about actual examples to get very, very specific. One of them is my favorite in there. So again, you can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar for that training. But this could be things like intended major, career path, hobbies or talents like photography, coding, even gaming. It could be specific to identity, maybe first gen, LGBTQ, women in STEM. It could be specific to medical conditions or life circumstances like being a cancer survivor or losing a parent or a military child or foster care experience. So the more we can brainstorm, the better. In fact, again, those members in the scholarship system, we have an entire worksheet with 36 plus cubes to brainstorm different categories for this reason. So the key is matching our student with scholarships that reward with their identity or their interests. That way, only students with that factor can apply. So naturally it's less competitive. All right, number 3 is social media. And yes, I'm serious about this. It might be surprising, but many organizations are sharing their scholarships on social media. We have lists, if you follow the scholarship system, that we share. We are on Pinterest. We've got lists there, our blog. But if you look up hashtag scholarship alert or hashtag college money or hashtag scholarship opportunity, these can be great opportunities to find scholarships. And a lot of times it'll be the organization themselves sharing it. So the chances of it being legitimate are much higher. Also, following local community foundations and other nonprofit groups that give out scholarships could be a great way to be alerted when their applications open. Secret number 4 is not to forget employer or union scholarships. So I mentioned earlier briefly, but more detail on this. Some parents don't realize that their workplace may offer scholarships for their children. This can be the same for labor unions, professional associations, industry-specific associations, especially if your student's pursuing a similar career path. So check with your HR department to see if this is an option. Also, again, your student's employer. For example, Chick-fil-A offers scholarships. So if your student works for Chick-fil-A, that's a great opportunity, and they are not the only ones. The 5th secret is reverse engineering other students' wins. So this one is a little bit tricky, but we can look up and seek out stories of students winning scholarships and see which scholarships they won. Websites like Reddit, they have a whole scholarships thread, TikTok stories, even YouTube videos about other students who have actually won. And actually, one of my favorite ways to do this is to look at previous graduation announcements. So last year's graduation announcement, a lot of times it'll list the seniors and the scholarships they received. Naturally, some of those will be local as well. Now, secret number 6 is all about staying organized with a system, hence the name, the scholarship system. So searching is one thing and applying is another. When we are doing the search process, a lot of students will just search scholarships and they'll get so overwhelmed. They really don't find a quality list and they kind of quit or get stuck there. Then we have the students and parents that do a great job building that list. But then when it comes to knocking them out, maybe they miss deadlines, they forget about their amazing list, or they just get overwhelmed by all of the application requirements. So setting your student up for success means having a system in place for this. This could be things like using the scholarship system free app and Chrome extension for documenting the scholarships that you want them to apply to. You can share a login and you as a parent can be saving them in there. They can be seeing them. They can be saving some in there, but it's actually empty. So the only ones in there are ones that you and your student want to apply to. It's also important with this to make sure that we have some kind of alert for them. And the app has that built in. But if you have your own system, whether it's a spreadsheet or a folder or a bookmarks tab, whatever it is, we want to make sure we set an alert to remind us to go back and check it, because it breaks my heart to hear, oh, we built this amazing list, but we keep forgetting to check it and then deadlines pass. It happens more than you think. Step 6 in the scholarship system is all about creating this system. And it is so important because for most of us, one application is not going to do it. We have to submit over and over and over. And as we do that, if we keep a good, well-oiled system in check, then it gets faster and easier as we go, especially once we start getting those wins and seeing what worked and what didn't. Other things we can do to create a system could be keeping documents that we can reuse in a cloud-based system. That's another great tip to do. And then lastly, it could be picking a consistent time that your family does this. So we, with our families in the scholarship system program, we talk about something called Scholarship Sundays, where every Sunday they pick maybe 2 hours, and every Sunday they sit down, make some snacks, and knock out the applications together. Maybe their parent or guardian is building the list while they're knocking out an essay, but that dedicated time and that structure is a phenomenal way to increase chances of success. In fact, some of our biggest winners, one thing I've found consistent with them is they all implemented our Scholarship Sunday. And it doesn't have to be Sunday, but it does sound nice. So comment below, do you and your student know how to move beyond the big search engines now? Was this helpful? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you hit subscribe, because every week we have a new strategy for you on paying for college. But here's the deal. these big search engines, we don't have to totally avoid them, but we really want to find the scholarships that are not on them first and spend our time there, and then we can go to those search engines. So again, I cover that in that free training. Just go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar for where to find those scholarships. But this should get you started. You want to go deeper, get creative, look local, match their story with the searches that we're doing for scholarships, and find that money, because the money is out there. It's just not always where everyone's telling you to look. All right, I'll see you in the next video.